Finally, as part of articulating the what for your marketing plan, you want to make sure you understand how the business makes money. A business model typically holds that information. Business models can be complex, but at their core, it really defines how a business creates value. We don't have to go through all the detail in this course, but let's take a look at the very basics. Beta Brand is an e-commerce company. They sell clothes to men and women through a website. They're considered a business-to-consumer or B2C company. Ezekiel Farka is an architecture and design firm. They're also considered a B2C company. Bamboo HR sells HR software to small to medium-sized companies. They are considered a business-to-business or B2B company. It's important to understand how a company derives value, because this helps marketers figure out what they can spend on their efforts and why. Remember that making money is not always revenue. In the case of charitable organizations, for example, it can be defined as donations. And also, making money does not always mean gross revenue. It can also mean profit. Profit equals revenue minus the costs. Let's start with Beta Brand. E-commerce companies typically make money through online sales. Every purchase or order has a value, and in marketing this is referred to as average order value, or AOV. Beta Brand charges different prices for different products. But for the purposes of this course, we're going to assume that no matter what type of products are put in a shopping cart, their average shopper buys an average of $85 worth of goods. That's the gross revenue. But Beta Brand incurs costs to provide clothes to customers. It has to pay to have the garments made and shipped, for example. These are Beta Brand's cost of goods sold, or COGS. Beta Brand's revenue minus cost of goods sold equals their gross profit. If we assume Beta Brand has costs of goods sold of $10, that would make their gross profit $75. This is the value Beta Brand derives, or money that Beta Brand makes. This could be a very basic representation of the business model for Beta Brand. Now let's take a look at Ezekiel Farka's business. Service companies may not be able to deliver and charge for their services online. Their websites work primarily as places to gather information and create a connection with a potential customer. These companies then convert their visitors into paying customers offline. Ezekiel's services vary in cost depending on the type of project he undertakes. But for the purposes of this course, we're going to assume that he charges $150 for residential architectural plans. That would be his gross revenue. Ezekiel also incurs costs to deliver his service. He may have costs from software he uses to develop the plans, for instance. These costs would be his costs of goods sold. So his revenue minus costs of goods sold is his gross profit. If we assume Ezekiel's cost of goods sold are equal to $50, that puts his gross profit, his conversion value, at $100. Bamboo HR is considered a business-to-business company. Business-to-business or B2B companies sell to other businesses. The sales are typically of large products or services. Bamboo HR sells annual licenses to access its HR software. The cost of these licenses depends on the size of the business. For the purposes of this course, we're going to assume that Bamboo HR charges $1,500 for every license it sells to a company. Again, $1,500 is its gross revenue, and to get to its gross profit, we need to understand their cost of goods sold. If we assume Bamboo HR incurs $500 in cost of goods sold, that puts their gross profit at $1,000. Understanding how a company makes money or derives value and its gross profit will come in handy throughout the course, and especially when we get to the measure and optimize portion of the course. You'll need this information to understand concepts like return on investment or ROI, lifetime value, LTV, and more.